Okay, welcome to part 3. You'll notice since part 2 I've changed that back to 10, so it'll just do 10 stars on the screen randomly. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce a command outside the for next loop. Remember, this is the for next loop that we got here, and so after it I'm going to put in delay 1000, which delays it for a second, and then I'm going to put clear screen so you can see the effect. That just clears the screen of everything. Okay, so when I run the program, 1 and disappears. Okay, likewise if I put 2 there, it would disappear after 1, 2 and disappears. Okay, so that's what that does. So I'm just going to Control X and I'm going to put this up here. Sorry, I've got the delay there from last time. Okay, so I'm going to put this here instead, and I'm going to run the program. So what it's going to do, it's going to first delay for 2 seconds, going to clear the screen just in case it has any graphics on it from previous levels, which we haven't done yet, and then it's going to generate the images, and then it's going to wait for me to press the key, and then it's going to end. Okay, so there we go, and I press the key and it ends. So this program generates a random number from the computer's clock and draws the graphic called screen, and then x equals 0, y equals 240, s equals 10, stores those variables, loads the image star.bmp, which is in the same directory which I made using paint, called it the variable image star, handle it by the middle, not the top left hand corner, so uses the image from the middle, waits 2 seconds, clears the screen, generates stars 1 to 10, S is 10, and then it draws the image at any random place on the screen resolution being that, so 640 across or 480 down, next, and then it waits for me to press the key, and then the program ends. So let's see that in action once more. 1, 2, random stars anywhere on the screen, press the space bar or any key, and it ends. Okay, so that's all that program does. Okay, so now we wanted to do a little bit more than that. First thing we can do is the locate command from earlier. As I say, if you're using Blitz Plus instead of Blitz 2D, then you would want a different command. But okay, so I'm going to locate, which I will get onto in a second. Okay, so locate 320, 20. So that's 320 across and 20 down, and I'm going to put print, and I'm going to put level. Okay, so level, and this is our level number, and there we go. I've got to close the parenthesis, inverted commas, so it's just going to print that to the screen, and I want a little space after it, and then I put plus and I put level. Okay, so that's our level. So we need to specify what a starting level is at the start of the program. Level equals 1. Okay, so now it's going to wait 2 seconds, clear the screen, locate, print the level, then print the stars. Okay, so level 1. Okay, it's really not doing much at all. Okay, so we want to zoom in and out of these stars. Okay, that's the general game. Okay, very simple game. So that's what we're going to do. So we need something to move across the screen, and for it to continually keep repeating until it gets more and more difficult. So what we need is another loop. Okay, separate from this one. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a basic loop, and the basic game loop is while and wind. So that basically what that's going to do is everything between this is going to keep on executing again and again and again and again continuously, and that way when you want to move something across the screen or do something like that, it's just going to keep on doing it. So I'm going to put in a condition while not key down 1. So 1 is actually the escape key, so it will continue to execute while that escape key is not pressed. Okay, and I can now remove wait key, because it's just going to keep on going around this loop until I press escape. Okay, so if I run the program, it's just going, now it's going around in a loop. It's not waiting for me to press a key. Well, it is, but it's actually just keeps on cycling round that while when loop. That's what it's doing there. Okay, so let's keep on cycling and cycling and cycling and cycling. Okay, so when I press escape, it gets out of this loop, it goes out of this part here, and enters this part and ends. Okay, so it really doesn't do much difference. Okay, but that's the difference between wait key and using a while not key, and it means I can only press the escape key. If you want to know where all the scan codes are, you can just like Google it, look on the internet, and there's lots of diagrams for all, or you can go to help and you can look up in the command reference scan codes, and it's got them all listed here. So escape, as you can see, is 1. Okay, so that's where I got that from. Okay, so we want to actually do something in our game. Okay, so we're going to first of all use a command called rectangle, and we're going to draw the rectangle at position X, position Y, and we want it 2 by 2, and we want it to be a solid rectangle. So this is a really small rectangle. So okay, it's going to repeatedly draw that rectangle at the same spot. Okay, so point X and Y, and you can see just there, just above this star here, there's a tiny little dot here, which is a rectangle. Okay, and I can't exit it. I have to press the escape key to exit it. Okay, so if I will demonstrate that. Now it's 20. 1 means solid, 0 means a rectangle outline. Okay, so wait 2 seconds, and you can see it's a big rectangle now. We actually want just a 2 by 2, so I have to press escape. Obviously, if I put 0, okay, that would be an outline rectangle. Okay, so that's it. Okay, sorry, escape. Okay, so rectangle, I want a 2 by 2 rectangle and 1. Remember, if you don't know what a command does or means, just press the F1 key. It will come up in the bottom. If you double tap it, it will come up with the help file. Okay, don't worry about that. You can just flick back to this tab and you get back to here. Okay, okay, so now we've got a rectangle. Okay, what we actually want to do is create a line down the screen. The reason I'm using a rectangle is it's very, very fast to draw a line like this on the screen. Okay, so we're going to use a little trick, and we're going to go, remember X and Y are starting at X equals 0, Y equals 240. That's why it's drawing it to the middle, the left hand midpoint halfway up, the left hand of the screen halfway up. Okay, so if I go Y equals Y plus 2, okay, this is going to continually go around the loop and continually, let's try plus 1 to start with. Okay, so it's going to continually go around the loop and keep on adding 1 to the Y position. Okay, so if we run that, you'll see, now you see a thick black line down here. Okay, so it keeps on adding 1 to the Y position. So it prints a rectangle, or rather a square, because it's 2 by 2. Okay, which means it's a square, and it keeps on printing it down the screen. Okay, if you want to see that a little bit clearer, just escape. I'll go 20, 20. So there we go. It prints lots of rectangles, another rectangle, or square rather, and it just keeps on going. Okay, so I don't want it to quite do that. It's sort of printing a line, a very thick line down the screen. I want it to go diagonally. If I put x equals x plus 1, okay, now it should go across the screen. Okay, so now it's printed a line, a thick line that's lots and lots, and what's it actually doing is it's printing lots of tiny little rectangles at an angle of 45 degrees. Okay, so if we wanted to change the angle, a pretty simple trick. You just, well, it's not really a trick, but you just increase the amount, y increases by twice the amount, and then you get a sharper angle. Okay, and that's a fairly good angle. So this play area is not playable, this play area, and neither is this one. If we go -2, okay, this is non-playable area. Okay, so actually we can't actually play in this area. I'll explain why that is in a short while. Okay, so that concludes our tutorial for this session. We're going to have a kind of laser going across the screen, dodging all the stars and getting to the other side. That's the basic premise of Stardodger, and it's a very simple game. Okay, thank you, and I'll see you in part 4.